Welcome to Community Talk, a public affairs presentation of the MSA United Way and Super Talk 1270. Now your host, Jena Gullo.
Good morning, Bismarck, Amanda, North Dakota, even New York. Hello, Mother dear. Thanks for listening to me. Hopefully you got your internet working there, Babsies. And welcome, Mr. Scott Hansen, my co-host today from the MSA United Way, Mr. Scott Hansen.
Glad to be here. That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say? You normally gab and
I
gab
let
and
you
gab
do
at
the
the
gabbing,
United Way
Jenna.
office. I know. Thank God I have the gift of gab, huh? Or something. I'm not sure what you call it. The curse for others, the gift for me. We do have to say a special thank you to Town Square Media. They donate this hour every other Tuesday. You can find us here on Super Talk 1270. And every year they do something really cool called 96 Hours of Caring. And Scott, you helped promote some of this and organize it. And
Yeah, not much. They did the vast majority, that's for darn sure. But they're broadcasting from Monday through Thursday this week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., donating all that time to create awareness about nonprofits' needs in the community and just different programs that are working to meet those needs.
yeah, it's really nice. They're helping out programs like our United Way programs like Salvation Army, Neighbors Network. And so they give us an hour every day, Monday through Thursday, and we go around to the different sponsors, people like Jena Vacuum. We also have Carpet World, and we just have a lot of good places cash-wise. We're heading over after the show to Dakota Community Bank, and they sponsor this effort every single year. And so people can get involved. You can either give online, make it really easy through a cash donation, and go to msaunitedway.org, and they're looking for the 96 Hours of Caring banner.
Yep, there's a banner on that, or you can just tune in to your favorite Town Square Media station, and they'll have all the information on there as well.
Yeah, and you can drop off donations. You can do it at any of the locations that are sponsoring. Today it's Dakota Community Bank and Trust. You can also drop things off at the American Family Insurance locations, which is really nice. Mr. Terry Kraft is our past president at United Way, and so he's up across from Seven Seas over in Mandan, or any of the locations. They're accepting things we need for the community. So I know at our United Way, we started the backpack program. So what are some of the items that we're looking for to help ensure United Way backpacks are, meeting the needs of kids in our community?
Yeah, anything that's easy to prepare, easy for kids to prepare.
And nutritious.
And nutritious, of course. But single-serving items, canned goods, fruits, vegetables, canned meals, soups are really good.
You know what's really good, too, are those Pop-Top.
Pop-Tops?
Because a lot of times we literally just had a family in our community that was living in their car. They were living with their sister. The sister's an alcoholic, kicked her out of the house with her two kids, and every day she'd still take her kids to the gas station, get them ready for school. They would look impeccable. They only had 3 outfits, and bring them to school. It wasn't until she finally broke down, reached out to a United Way caseworker and said, "We've been living in our car the last 2 weeks. The kids have been waiting in the car while I go to work and finish my shift at a store you and I both go to rather frequently, and I'm sure many of our listeners do." So our United Way caseworkers got them linked with housing, got them, linked with, different services in the community that were already existing, got them a better job, actually. So now they have health insurance. So just amazing when people come together. So however you can help, you might think you can't make a difference, but you can. That's the power of United Way. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be having some of our programs that United Way supports. We're highlighting some of them. Who do you line up this week, Scott?
Well, first of all, we'll be talking about WLC. We have some great volunteers here in the studio. And then a little later, we're going to be talking with Burleigh County Senior Adults Program and a new United Way program, North Dakota Reading Corps.
Yeah, great programs. But we are in the midst of planning a really spectacular event. If people do not have their tickets, go online to MSA United Way and get your ticket to the Little Black Dress event. It is on November 21st, going to be at the Heritage Center, only $40. You'll hear more about what that means and who's invited. We want you all to support the cause. And here to talk about the efforts of the United Way Women's Leadership Circle, we have the past chair, Ms. Tricia Meininger.
Good morning.
Thanks for helping us, Tricia. And thanks for all that you do. I mean, you led this committee the past couple of years, and now you're past chair, so you're still on the steering committee. And tell our listeners what the Women's Leadership Circle is.
The Women's Leadership Circle is a group of women. We have a steering committee that we participate in. You have to be at the giving level of $500 as a woman. So on your own at the giving level of $500, and we host and raise money for different events in the community. Last year we did an event at Spaces. This year we're doing the Little Black Dress campaign.
So tell us about the Spaces event, because I know a lot of people attended it, but it was all women, right? Targeting women and recruiting new WLC members.
Yes. Last year, our event at Spaces was in November, and they graciously agreed to host, and we had a silent auction and door prizes, and we raised money for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which gives books to children ages 0 to 5. It's $25 to sponsor a kid, but there's no charge to sign up.
Isn't that neat? And that's something that the WLC has really gotten up and going, taken it to a new level. We started that program in 2009, and the Women's Leadership Circle adopted it right away.
Absolutely, and it's such a good program. And if anybody has ever looked at the books or gotten the books, they're amazing books, and they're age appropriate for the kids, and it really helps them get excited to learn about reading. Plus, most of the kids, when they get a little bit older, really like to get the mail.
Yeah, so it's free to join, but the United Way incurs a cost.
Right.
So is that what you're fundraising for?
Yes. We fundraise in order to sponsor the children and in order to pay for the shipping costs. The books, actually, we get from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So,
yeah, and so it's to cover shipping and handling for 12 books, a whole year's worth of books, and these books are mailed to the homes of kids, and it's any income level, which is really neat, too.
Absolutely. There's no qualifications whatsoever for it.
Yeah, you just have to be under 5.
Exactly.
And so people can register. They can go online to msaunitedway.org. They can also get more involved in the Women's Leadership Circle. How should people get more involved, and where are places they can learn more about the WLC?
Well, you can definitely learn more at the United Way website. You can give the United Way office a call, or you can contact another WLC member.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're at American Bank Center.
I am.
And so they can give you a call our office. You have a Facebook page, the WLC.
MSA United Way WLC.
Glad you are here, Scott. Glad you are here. And so we will tell you more about the Women's Leadership Circle, tell you how you can get more involved, and tell you more about the Little Black Dress event coming up November 21st. Very cool event. Okay, we will be back to hear more from Tricia Meininger. We're going to be joined by Dorothy Lick, the incoming chair, and hope that you'll stick around. See you in a couple of minutes.
Right now, 37.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back to United Way's Community Talk. I'm your host and MSA United Way Executive Director. That's what I do in my full-time work here as I goof around on air. But we are really here to bring awareness to community issues. We have 96 hours of caring. Town Square Media does this every year. Takes a lot of work to organize this effort. And we are on air at different locations because of wonderful, wonderful sponsors like Carpet World, Cashwise. Today we're at Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Yesterday we were at Jena Vacuum and Sewing. So thank you so much to the sponsors, and thank you to American Family Insurance for being willing to be a drop-off location. If you are able to give any food items for our United Way backpack program, any of our local food pantries, any items at all, school supplies, winter winter coats, whatever we're needing in the community. If you don't want to brave the chillier temperatures, donate online to the cause. 96 Hours of Caring has a banner on our website at MSA United Way. If you give $5, it supports a United Way backpack full of food for a child who's struggling. You want to do $100? Well, that helps us to fund Big Brothers Big Sisters and foster grandparents, and they provide at-risk youth a mentor for the month. You want to give to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. It's only $25. Maybe you want to help with the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. That's a $12 gift. So there are lots of different giving opportunities. Go online to msaunitedway.org to help talk about our great giving opportunities. We have two fantastic representatives of the United Way Women's Leadership Circle. We have Tricia Meidinger, the past chair, and we have Ms. Dorothy Lick, the incoming chair. Thank you, ladies, for being with me today.
Good morning, Jenna. Thanks for having us here.
Isn't this kind of fun?
It is.
Yeah. So talk to us. Why should people be a member of the Women's Leadership Circle?
I think one of the great things that we're doing within the leadership circle, it's just recognizing what women are already doing and then maybe expanding and enhancing those efforts. Women are such an integral part of our community, and they see needs and they take care of needs. And so this is probably just a way for us to recognize that, and then also to have some synergy, to bring women together to do even more than we're doing, point out some needs that exist, and also celebrate the success we have.
Well, it's interesting, Dorothy, because you're a big reason why we do our United Way Backpack program. I don't know if you even know that about yourself, but I talk about you all the time. Tell us about not last summer, but the summer prior to that, and how we even started the United Way Backpack program.
Sure, I'm happy to. I was part of the Women's Leadership Program through the Center for Technology and Business, and part of our class work through that program was to choose a charity, and we raised money or met needs that they had. And one of the groups that was in my class was working with the backpack program provider and discovered that children were no longer receiving a backpack every weekend, but it had been cut back to once a month because there just wasn't enough to go around. And so I left that class that day, the women's leadership class, and went to a United Way Women's Leadership Council meeting and shared that information. And the United Way and the Women's Leadership Circle picked up on it and really just stepped in to meet the need and, talk about the synergies of women having these conversations and discovering needs and then finding a way to meet them. I know a lot of businesses have stepped in to help fulfill that need, and it's huge. I think about kids in our community not having to go home hungry every weekend. It's a huge thing that we're doing.
Well, nurses at the schools actually noticed that on Monday morning, kids were dizzy. They weren't able to concentrate. Well, they weren't eating. And at United Way, we don't duplicate efforts. So the first thing we did when you brought us that information is we went to the current program. We said, hey, we'll raise money. Can you go back to doing this every week? And you know what? I appreciate their response. They couldn't, and it takes a lot of time and energy to organize that effort. But then our board of directors said, it's not okay that kids go hungry. And you, as part of the Women's Leadership Circle, you started organizing food drives, and that's what you did too at American Bank Center, Tricia.
Well, what we did was, we just went ahead and told the story, and most people, they don't, kids need to eat, and it didn't take long, and pretty soon we had a lobby full of food and brought it over, and I think that whole event was organized in less than 2 or 3 weeks, just to get food in the hands of those kids.
And that's what really drives me and excites me at United Way, is the ability to do things quickly, efficiently, and really to meet those gaps that we see, that the community expresses. Because I always say I aspire our United Way to be a reflection of the community. And I want to know what our donors are wanting, needing, what gaps you are seeing. Another item that we noticed, and this was from our United Way Needs Assessment, is that only 29% of our youth in Bismarck-Mandan feel they have a positive adult role model. So we brought that to the Women's Leadership Circle, and we've kind of played around with the idea, but you really jumped on that this year. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about how that all transpired and what you're doing as the WLC?
Sure. One of the first thing we did is on this year's Day of Caring, we adopted the classroom at Saxfig Elementary. And the Women's Leadership Circle, that was actually the first time the Women's Leadership Circle had its own team at Day of Caring. And so what we did was we went into Saxfig and we helped some of the teachers get organized and ready for school. And basically, the Women's Leadership Circle kind of fell in love with Saxfig Elementary and decided to adopt classrooms there.
Well, it's so funny because it started off too as adopt one classroom. You ended up adopting the entire school.
Pretty much, yeah. And we actually, we're going into 4 classrooms twice a month.
That is just awesome. Teresa Crest at Bartlett and West said it was the best 2 hours of her month.
Yeah.
The time she spent with the kids. And what do you do when you go in?
When we first got there, we helped them a little bit. They were working on some workbooks and that type of thing. So we just walked around and helped them if they had questions. And then they had some reading time. So they read to us, which I thought was really cool. Because, it's easy for me to read to them, but to watch a second grader read to you and remember what that was like when they're pointing at every word and reading. So they read to us, and we had recess and lunch, and yeah.
How much fun. And it's really just providing that adult role model. I mean, someone to give them individualized attention. I can't imagine as a teacher, you may or may not have an aide in the classroom. You have 20 plus kids. And some of them, I mean, at Saxfig, that's one of the high poverty schools. And so they really struggle. I think they really struggle to meet the needs, and anyone can volunteer. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so if you give at that $500 level, you can sign up and be a part of these efforts and so much more. So people, how should they get in touch with you?
Through the United Way website, or calling the United Way office, or on our WLC Facebook page.
Yeah, because people are going to see some Facebook posts pretty soon here popping up all over the place. Our website has already seen a lot of traffic for the Little Black Dress campaign. Dorothy, talk to us about this new initiative.
I'm happy to. We're very excited to kick off a new event in Bismarck. This was brought to us by one of our WLC members, and we're really excited about the opportunity to raise awareness about women and children in our community who are living in poverty. So, as you mentioned earlier, our campaign celebration event will be November 21st at the Heritage Center, and that'll be an evening celebration to sort of cap off a week of activities. We're going to kick off on Monday, November 17th. We currently have more than 70 women who have agreed to participate in the week. And what they'll do, they've each agreed to wear one black dress or a black outfit for the entire week to point out that not everyone in our community is so lucky to have a closet full of clothes when they need to go to work or when they're attending events. And so we are going to have 70 women who have agreed to make one outfit work for the entire week, and then they're also going to raise money for the United Way campaign.
And so what does each woman commit to other than having to wear the same outfit for 1 week, which is a big commitment in and of itself, especially for me, who's constantly spilling coffee or things on my clothes. But what else are the women doing?
As I mentioned, they are each committing to raise money for the campaign. And in addition, at the end of the week, they will have the opportunity to donate that outfit or that dress to the Abused Adult Resource Center's Seeds of Hope Career Closet. And so that is a special part of the Seeds of Hope store that is set aside for women who are looking to get back into the workforce so that they will have professional clothing when they do go for a job interview or start a new job.
That is just awesome. And so we are having all of the dresses dry cleaned, donated by our HUD cleaners. So thank you so much to them. And it's not too late for people to join, right? If they want to get more involved, they can contact United Way. I think we have over 80 women now.
Okay, 80 women. That's awesome.
Yeah, our goal was to get 50. And you do have to raise at least a minimum of $500. And so if people are interested, if you think you can rally your team around the cause and really help, not just put a Band-Aid over issues, but to really target the solutions to help lift people out of poverty. We know we do it through education, and we do it through relationships. So I have to thank you, Dorothy and Tricia. Thanks for all of your hard work. People don't realize you ladies have full-time jobs, you have families, you make it all work, and you put so much time back into the community. On behalf of the tens of thousands of people you're helping through United Way, I have to thank you for your commitment.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Jenna. It has been a pleasure, and we are thrilled to be at Saxvig Elementary.
Yeah, so if people want to get more involved, get your pledge forms out, go online, make that $500 commitment, and let us know if you're interested in engaging in the volunteer activities through the Women's Leadership Circle. And also, join us on November 21st. We are going to be at the Heritage Center. Buy your tickets in advance. It's only $40, and $25 of those dollars go to support a child in the United Way's Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Join us in just a few minutes. We're going to be hearing from some other United Way partners. We've got North Dakota Reading Corps on the way, and also Burleigh County Senior Center.
Right now, 37.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment.
Hey, guys, check out my new video game.
Mom, what?
Huh?
What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S.
Jolene
Forest
on the
Service
line?
and the Ad Council.
Russell Wilson
Perfect.
here with Play 60. United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids!
To get involved, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Donate!
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course!
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to United Way's Community Talk. I'm your host and MSA United Way Executive Director, Jena Gullo. I always have fun here. I'm not a real radio host, as you might not have been able to tell, I'm sure, but co-hosting with me to help save me when I start talking too much or don't know what I'm saying is Mr. Scott Hansen.
It's all behind the scenes, though. It's hand signals. So unfortunately, we don't get to see that.
We're right. Help, save me, Scott, save me. Yeah, he mentioned he does the signal for cut. Quit talking, Jenna. Scott, talk real quickly and let people know what's going on at 96 Hours of Caring.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to have to jet out here in a few short minutes and run down the street to do a quick interview at Dakota Community Bank. But that's part of 96 Hours of Caring, and Town Square Media has very generously donated airtime the next 4 days, Monday through Thursday, to help raise awareness.
They do it every year.
And they do it. This is the ninth year in a row.
And they
they've done
volunteer
it.
their time. We're usually at Carpet World Thursday night, 6 o'clock, and we get these huge donations worth of food. And so all of the Town Square Media folks, they load up the food, they sort it, they deliver it to our partner agencies to help meet the needs in the community. It's just an awesome way that they give back. We appreciate it so much.
It's definitely cool. So tune in to your favorite Town Square station and learn a little bit about some of the great programs and organizations in the community.
Yeah, and get involved. They can bring food. We're looking for any pop-top soups, any granola bars, peanut butter, things that we can put in our United Way backpacks, or, food meals for our local food pantries, people in need. People are surprised, but there are way too many people in our community that do suffer from hunger. You wouldn't think it with the growing economy.
Yeah, no. There was a survey that was released a few months back, and I apologize, I don't have the source, but it identified about 13,000 people who rely on food banks each year, just in Burleigh County alone.
Yeah, that's 1 in 12 people that experience what we call food insecurity, that experience hunger. And when we do United Way's backpack program, last week we delivered 429 backpacks full of food to kids in the Bismarck and Mandan elementary schools. We do that every other week. So if you want to get involved in 96 Hours of Caring, one easy way is to go online right now. Go to MSA United Way. Click on Town Square Media's 96 Hours of Caring banner. Give $5. $5 will support a United Way backpack. Can you do that? Can you give a $25 gift for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library? Another program we run, we do not charge any admin for these programs. We are here for you to keep our community great. So however you can get involved, please do. And one way that we're really keeping our community great is by researching and funding, supporting new programs for people of all ages in our community. In a little bit, we will be talking with Renee Kipp at Burleigh County Senior Center. But right now, on the line, joining us from Fargo, we do have a representative from the Southeast Education Cooperative. We have Jolene Gardy. Jolene, can you hear me? Gosh, Jolene, thanks for being on our show today. We are really happy to have you, and I was so impressed. Gosh, it was about a year and a half ago, when we had Amy Walters come into the Bismarck-Mandan area. She assembled a little group of us, the DPI superintendent. We also had the superintendents of the local public schools and a lot of great partners to talk about the North Dakota Reading Corps. And tell us what that is, because you are a new United Way partner and our listeners want to hear more. Well, and it's interesting. You don't base this necessarily on income level, do you? And so we know in Bismarck-Mandan, we have over 35% of our low-income kids that aren't reading at proficiency level. And that means they're 4 times less likely to graduate from high school later on. That is unbelievable. And it seems like such an effective way to have a long-term effect. And that's what we're going for at our United Way, is not just putting Band-Aids over issues, but really targeting what are some solutions to prevent bigger issues from coming our way. So talk about how the program has worked in other communities.
So we provide those 20-minute one-on-one sessions that our tutors spend really working on those early literacy skills. So everything from starting with letter names, letter sounds, working up to blending those together to read words, and then fluency, comprehension, reading with expression. And we also are in 4 preschool sites in Cass County, and those are focused on real high needs, Nokomis Child Care Center, Even Start Family Literacy, so targeting some low-income students there. And beyond North Dakota, we're a replication of Minnesota Reading Corps, which has been in operation for over 10 years, and the program's being replicated across the country in 6 other states. And it's a real research-based program with a lot of emphasis on data. So the really neat thing is that we can see individual student progress as well as chart the growth of all of our students and really see those numbers as they climb and see that we're closing that proficiency gap.
That is one of the things that we really liked about your program, and also the United Way of Cass Clay spoke highly of, is the success that you have been seeing. Whether it's been in the Minnesota program or down in Fargo, what growth rates have you noticed or that you've tracked with the students that you've been helping?
Sure. So last year for our elementary program, 95% of the students that we served, so about 395 out of 417, demonstrated progress towards achieving that grade level reading expectation. Of those students, 53% of them actually met the grade level expectation and were exited through the program. So they basically made more growth within more than 1 year's growth within less than 1 year's time. So they caught up with their peers and were able to end the school year reaching that spring target for their grade level.
Wow, and what a lasting effect that can have on them. And it also affects their self-esteem and their confidence levels too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You hear that from our tutors all of the time who love those warm, fuzzy stories, those great stories that they tell about, once a student reaches that goal, maybe reading wasn't something they enjoyed before, and now all of a sudden they hear from the parents, they love to read. They can't get their hands on enough books. They're excited. They're more engaged in the classroom because it's something that that they're good at now and that they can actually enjoy, both keeping on pace with their peers in class, but also just the joy of reading and the opportunity that brings.
Well, and you think about the anxiety levels that even adults have speaking in public, and then you think about when you were younger and how that's just magnified. And yet, if you can't read when you're called on in class or you stumble, how that just affects your entire being and your day and your relationships with the other students. So what a fantastic program. Jolene, are you looking for volunteers?
We're very fortunate right now that we have filled all of our 41 AmeriCorps tutor positions for the current school year. We will begin in January looking for tutors for the 2015-16 school year, though, so they can definitely, anyone who's interested in serving with AmeriCorps and North Dakota Reading Corps can check back with us kind of along that time frame as we plan for the next school year.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jolene, and thank you for everyone, all of the AmeriCorps volunteers that are helping out to make North Dakota Reading Corps available and effective to our local students. It's such an important indicator for future success. We appreciate you being on today.
Well, thank you so much, Jenna, and we really appreciate all of the support that United Way has provided to our program.
Yeah, very good. Well, we look forward to a continued partnership. If you're listening out there, you want to get more involved, go to msaunitedway.org. You can donate online, donate to fabulous programs like North Dakota Reading Corps, and also Burleigh County Senior Center. We're going to be hearing from Renee Kipp in just a few minutes. And also tune in. Town Square Media is having their 96 Hours of Caring. We appreciate it. We appreciate you caring about our community. Join us in just a couple minutes.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back. I am Jena Gullo, the United Way Executive Director, and today your host of United Way's Community Talk. And we have a lot going on at our United Way. We have presented to over 2,500 people in the Bismarck-Mandan community. We've even gone out to Beulah, Hazen. Basin Electric is our number one supporter, and they allow us to talk to the men and women out at the plants there. And people don't realize we do focus on the Bismarck-Mandan area because that's where the majority of our support comes from. But we actually have a 10-county area that's our region. So we're responsible for the 10 counties surrounding Burleigh and Morton. So if you're living in a town that's close to us and you want to get the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for kids in your area, give us a call. We just need a group to support kids under the age of 5, and we'll be able to do all the admin for free. This is one of First Lady Betsy Dalrymple's statewide initiatives, and gosh, she's expanded it throughout the state to nearly every child. Nearly. We're not there yet, but we are working hard. If you want us to help start the backpack program in your community, if you're seeing that there's an increase in kids who might be suffering from hunger over the weekend, we have partners that can do that, and we can help you fundraise for those dollars. We are here for you, and so whatever those gaps are that you think we could help fill, that's what we're here for. We're starting some unique partnerships, trying to help build the skills of some of our lower income populations so that we can meet the workforce need and build some of those soft skills that we know the employers, our business partners, are looking for. We also are working to educate mothers, single parents. One of the ways out of poverty is by educating the parents. That's a big indicator when we're looking at lifting families out of poverty and breaking that cycle. We're here not just to put Band-Aids on issues, but to really get people more involved and target long-term solutions. So you can want to get involved, go to our website, go to msaunitedway.org. Go click on the 96 Hours of Caring button. Visit us today at Dakota Community Bank and Trust. You can drop off any type of food, school supplies. We're looking for pop-top soups, granola bars. Get your kids involved. When kids are involved in giving back, it just means so more and it gets close to home. Something that the United Way office did this summer is we took a route for home-delivered meals in Mandan. It was the best experience we've ever had, especially as a team, and having that communication, that, really talking with people who are recipients of United Way services. And we're talking today with Renee Kipp, the director of Burleigh County Senior Center that runs a similar program that we fund. Renee, thank you.
Hi, Jenna.
Thanks for being here, and thank you so much for everything you do. Debbie Lafferty was at one of the presentations I had earlier this morning at Bianco Realty, and we were talking about just the effect 1 hour, even whether it's 1 hour a week, 1 hour a month, that communication that people have in visiting with recipients of those home delivered meals, what a difference that can make.
Right. They look forward to those visits every day.
Yeah, and at Burleigh County Senior Center, you deliver a lot of meals.
A lot of meals, about 4,000 a month.
That is unbelievable. And so is it primarily the Bismarck area, or do you go out to rural areas too, don't you?
Rural areas, they receive frozen meals, and they're delivered weekly or on a monthly basis. Primarily, our routes are within the city limits.
And so who's allowed to receive the meals?
For home delivered meals, the recipients need to be over 60, and they need to be considered homebound.
Yeah, and so is there a charge for the meals?
Not for our program. We receive federal funding to provide a certain amount of meals annually. We do accept donations for the meals. The client is not obligated to contribute anything, but they are welcome to if they are able.
And people, unfortunately, can get strapped with, Social Security, but yet they have their bills, they have their medication, they have all of these additional payments that they weren't maybe necessarily expecting.
Right.
And so it's nice to know that the United Way program is here for you or a family member if you need it.
Absolutely.
But it's not the only thing you do over at Burleigh County Senior Center.
We also have a congregate meal program where we serve meals at the Bismarck Senior Center, Crescent Manor, and the Wing Senior Center in Wing, North Dakota.
Oh, no kidding. And so, what's really neat is people can come to the Burleigh County Senior Center just to socialize.
We offer a lot of activities, games, pinochle, bridge, bingo, bunco. If they like to do arts and crafts, quilt. We have men's and women's breakfasts occasionally. I could go on and on, but we have full days of activities Monday through Friday for anybody in the community over 60 that they're welcome to come in.
And it's not just about the meals, not just about the socialization, but you actually look out for people's health, and you provide a lot of services that they might not otherwise be able to receive.
Right. We do have a home health maintenance program. The services we provide in that area is foot care. That is the major service that is highly needed in the community.
And often neglected.
And it's the key area to find health issues in our older adults. Mm-hmm. Helps them, they have trouble trimming their nails, so it helps with the ingrown toenails and all that, but it also gives our nurses an opportunity to check for things that may be happening, like diabetes and things like that, so they can give them a referral. But they'll also help with medications. They'll do blood pressure screenings, blood sugar screenings, and, we're there Monday through Friday every day for the seniors to come in and see the nurses.
That is just awesome, because I think a lot of times people aren't going to want to pay for the copay at a doctor's visit, especially if it's not something they know is a big issue. But it's nice to be able to go to the senior center and just get checked out.
And again, that all of our health maintenance services are by donation. There is no charge for any of our services that we offer.
That is so neat, and it's really thriving. Every time I walk in there, your place is packed. You also allow United Way to have meetings in your facility, and always feel badly that the guys can't play pool there while we're meeting. But, what is your options counseling? I don't think a lot of people know that you offer that.
It is a service for people that are at home. Maybe they're having some struggles with staying at home, keeping up with their housework, doing the laundry, basic things like that. They want to stay at home, but maybe they can't do it anymore. our options counselors can help individuals find a way to stay home. They'll connect them with services so that they don't have to go to the nursing home.
And so people who might be interested in either receiving that service or coming to the center, how is there an intake process, or can they just come?
They can just come. 315 North 20th Street in Bismarck. Our phone number is 255-4648. You can stop by. We're always available to give a tour, answer questions. Some of our services do require a home visit, like with our home delivered meals. Our social worker would need to go to the home and meet with them to make sure that they qualify. But it's a simple process. And otherwise, just call us, stop by, and we'll take care of them.
And how are you doing on volunteers? Do you need more?
We always need volunteers.
Yeah. What are some ways that people can get more involved if they want to help?
They can come in and help pack home delivered meals. They can volunteer at our coffee bar. They can help answer the phone in the office or at our reservation desk. They can work in the gift shop. They can make arts and crafts or quilt for items to put into our gift shop.
Oh, nice.
A lot of the items in our gift shop are made at the center, and we sell them, and then the proceeds go into our building and maintenance fund. So the work that those particular volunteers do is very valuable because it keeps our maintenance fund going.
And so it sounds like there's options for short-term or things you can do at home, or for long-term volunteers
Absolutely.
that, you'd probably want them to sign up for a week or two or a month for the home-delivered meals.
Yeah. Even if there's someone at home that likes to crochet or embroider, we can give you a volunteer job.
Oh, how nice. What a great idea. And to really get everyone in the community involved. If you are interested in helping out more, call Renee at 255-4648. Go online. We have all of our volunteer opportunities for our community online at volunteerbizman.com. And before we go, Renee, you had some volunteers for our United Way Day of Caring.
They were the best.
Aw, Ms. Heidi Rue, Superior
I want Heidi
Insurance.
Rue back next year.
Superior Insurance. Isn't she just an awesome person?
We had a lot of fun.
And what they do for your senior center?
We painted our rec room, and she donated some new artwork to hang on the walls. We also had a car wash for all of our home-delivered meal drivers. We had a bunch of young ladies that went out and washed their cars for them, and we just had a really good day. It was a lot of fun.
How awesome. And thanks, Renee, for all of the services that you provide. They were part of our United Way Day of Caring. Over 850 volunteers this year for United Way's Day of Caring. Listen, if you are at home and you want to get more involved, we have a way. We have a very easy way for you to get involved. Call United Way today. Our number is 255-3601. Go online to MSA United Way and definitely join us for 96 hours of caring. Drop off some food today. American Family
ABC
Insurance
News,
or Dakota Fire.
Super Talk 1270.